Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here. I hope you're having a great day, and I hope this video can make it a little bit better. Today we're going to be taking a look at all of the epic relics that were added into the game and kind of theory crafting what champions would work on them. Now, if you enjoy this video and if you enjoy all this daily Path of Champions content, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated, and let's get into it. So let's look at the different relics and think of when we want to be using them. Alright, so the Hextech Rifle, this is going to have really two use cases. Obviously very good for Misfortune, obviously, but this will be good on other champions for certain adventures or certain monthly challenges. Monthly challenges where the enemy starts with 1 health, or enemy challenges where the enemy's damaged units die at the end of the round. You could put this on pretty much anyone if you wanted, and it would just help kill enemy units for those monthly challenges. While generally it's just going to be used for Caitlyn, there will be some use cases where you could potentially use it just to cheese those monthlies. That's a great point. I do hate the monthlies where the enemies start with 1. Yeah, this is one of the ways you could try to cheese that a little bit. Oh, I said Misfortune, not Kate. Apologies. I sometimes confuse my words. So yeah, outside of those two use cases, I don't think this is really going to be used for anyone. Cease and Desist. So obviously, this is going to be good for Vi, and then pretty much anyone else that can get to 10 power. It's probably going to be like a better Stalker's Blade. So obviously good for Vi. Can be used on Viego if you want, because he can get to that point. Like, Viego has better options, but it's still something you can do. Obviously you can use it for Aurelian Soul. Probably going to be really good for Elder Dragon. You're probably going to like it there. This can be good for Nasus, especially. I think it'll have a strong use case there. Can be pretty good for Darius, especially if you drop him once he's going to be leveled. This can be pretty good. It should work for Darius, but if he's going to be 10 after the level up, we'll have to see. We'll have to see, yeah. This can be good for Ashe if you have Ashe at 6 stars, because she can then get up to 10 power from that, hit the board, get a free attack, frostbite their unit. So if you have 6 star, it actually could be okay for Ashe, but you probably just want to go for Gatebreaker. This should be good for Ornn, because Ornn, you can easily drop him when he's leveled. He'll get buffed up to 10 from the equipment he's grabbing, and then his attack summons his ram. So this actually has high potential to be good for Ornn. So Ornn can be really good. It could work for Pyke. Getting Pyke to 10 power by the time you play him, it's possible. But also, this is a play effect, not a summon effect, so it's usable. Probably not the best, though, to be honest. And then last up, we have Volibear, which it would also be pretty solid for him. Combo Cease and Desist with Living Weapon, that would be interesting. Yeah. All right, let's move on then to Big Guns. This is one that is fine, but honestly, for most people that already use Ludens, this isn't going to be that big of a deal, because most champions that use Ludens are already on the board. In most cases, it's the better version of Ludens, but it's not going to usually make that much of a difference. So as far as this one, you can use it for Annie. Normally, Annie's already on the board, though. You could use it for Vex, Jhin, Swain, Jinx, Misfortune, technically Volibear, Janna, Vhagar, Samira, Gnar. The problem is, for a lot of those units, like Volibear, you already have Volibear's relic, though. His epic relic, where all of your elemental skills do 2 damage, and that's also a power effect. So for some people, like, this is actually going to be pretty niche, because most champions are either already on the board, so it's doing the exact same thing as Ludens then, or they can go for Volibear's relic, and it's just a better version of this. So it's actually going to be pretty niche. And there's some champions that like Ludens that their effect has to have them on the board, such as like Kai'Sa, her attack, and Gwen, her attack. That's the only thing you use Ludens for those champions, and they have to be on the board for that to go off. So you get, yeah, a little bit of consistency, but that's about it. Also, this has an issue where it's not really going to scale with multiple versions of your champion. So if you have Ludens and you have 2 of your champions on the board, both of them have a Ludens that's buffing you up. Here with Big Guns, since this is a power, I don't think it's going to matter how many champions you have on the board. It's not going to make a difference. So it's actually, in one regard, a bit of a worse version of Luden's, but getting multiple of your champion on the board is pretty niche, so it's not that big of a deal. Luden's is better with cheap champions. It can double up if you have stabilized Shadow Totem. Yeah. So it's not crazy, which is a little sad. Living Weapon, this one is crazy and going to be good for so many people. Pretty much the cheaper your champion is, so the more you can get them on the start of the game, more attacks you can get with them, the better. But very good for like a ton of people. So it can be really good for Teemo, really good for Nora. Both of them play round 1. Elusive, you can get attacks in, scale them up. Very good for Jax. Should also be good if you want to go for a scaling Tahm Kench build. You can try to get him up and just keep buffing him up. You could use it for Varus, but I don't think that's as important, but it's something. Would be decent for Neela. Get her on the board, scale her up. Again, you could use it for LeBlanc, but that's not like one of the better champions at all. I'm just throwing it out there. You could use it for Kayn. Normally for Kayn, I try to end the game shortly after he's played, so you wouldn't actually get that much value. But if you want a little bit of a slower playstyle for Kayn, something you could go for. Really good for Vayne, because she attacks so much. The one issue is you're often swapping equipment with her, so some of your stacks will be kind of split with this. So Vayne is good, but there is that one bit of downside. This could be really good for Gnar. You want to get him on the board, scale him up really fast. You could potentially use this for Elise, depending on your playstyle, if you're not focusing on your Spiderlings as much, or if you don't have her at 3 stars, and you want to focus on her. This could be decent for that. Really good for Diana. Get her on the board right away, attack a bunch, scale her up. Could be good. Also very good for Bard. For Bard, you want to be able to get stacks to help you level up. This is going to level you up super fast. Like, this will be great for Bard, actually. Can be good for Pyke if you want to go for a build to get Pyke on the board immediately. Not necessarily going to be the best, but it's something. You could use this for Samira, again, if you want to go for a scaling Samira build. And then there's like Aatrox, but yeah, Aatrox and Kayn, even though you have this stuff for Forge, I think it's better on cheaper champions. You can get going right away, but there is still some synergy there. Diana's looking OTK anyways. Teemo plus Living Weapon and the Scout power, yeah. Living Weapon might be good with Vi plus her new Relic. I mean, the problem is with this, though, you want to get your champion on the board as soon as possible. With Vi, you need to wait until she stacks up to 10 power. So this isn't really good with her Relic. It can be good for Vi if you want to get Vi on the board turn 1, but that wouldn't really work with her Epic Relic. Neela can get free attacks with her spell, so that's something. Yep, that's true. Quite nice for Kayn with double Stalkers build. I mean, it's okay with that. I kind of prefer, what is it called? Found Fortune for that, but could be good. Could be good. Will Bard get keywords on play with just Living Weapon? Possibly. It'll depend on the order of operations. Actually, a little bit of a spoiler. We'll kind of jump ahead. Stacked Dice is going to be great for Bard because you have, every time you play a unit with buff stats, they get the extra 2 keywords. Having this just means you can play any card and it's going to get those keywords. Because once you get just that 1/1. So this actually will be quite good for Bard. But let's go back up. Frozen Tomb. So this one, a lot of the people that we thought was going to be good on is actually bad for. So all of the expensive champions, they have play effects. So this is a summon. So like Aurelion Sol, his power of a champion levels up and you double their stats and everything. That's a play effect. So it's not good for Aurelion Sol. Elder Dragon, when you play him, he gets all of his dragon boons. So he doesn't work. Volibear, when you play him, he triggers his storms. So that's also a play effect. Mordekaiser, when you play him, he kills 2 of his units. Again, a play effect. So for a lot of the expensive champions, this isn't good. Same with Ornn, another one. He has a play effect of copying the relic or equipment. So like on all the big champions, this actually isn't good for, but this could be very good for Nasus, and especially you go for a Nasus with Stalker's Blades, because that will trigger with the summon. Yes, the big thing, Ken, that's true. You're forcing double champions with this. So there's one strategy you'll potentially be able to do. Like, if you want to get a champion with double Ludens, you can get your champion on the board. When this activates, you get another champion. Also, another thing that's going to be very good with this is Echoing Spirit. With Echoing Spirit, you have the effect of champion spells cost 1 less. That scales based on how many champions you have. So you can have Echoing Spirit, get your champion on the board. This then goes off, summons your champion, so you have another Echoing Spirit. So now your champion spells are costing 2 less. So I haven't found a specific champion that's going to be great on, but that is a possible synergy that could be pretty good. So that is, yeah, something. As far as some other champions for the Frozen Tomb, though, will obviously be good for Talia, and potentially with Talia, you want to first play her, copy this, and then count them down, so you get 3 Talias on the board, which would be hilarious. So that would be pretty good. Vex likes this double Gloom. Yeah, that could be good. Where do I have this? All right, so Talia, this could be okay. Could be okay for Viego if you're struggling to get him on the board, but not amazing. This will be good for some champions that have Chemtech Duplicator. So going for like a Set or a Lee Sin, so you don't have to worry about playing them. This summons them, and right around that time frame, you're going to get your Chemtech Duplicator active. So that'll be really good. Like I said, Nasus, this can be really good for Nasus. This could be solid with Poro King, especially if you want to go for a Chemtech Duplicator Poro King build. Yeah, I think this could be really good for Darius, and with Darius, you can have a fun thing of putting Crown Guard Inheritance on him, so that by the time you're this point in the game, you summon Darius at, like, this is going to be at round start when this counts down. So if you already have the attack token, okay, then it's wasted. But if you don't have the attack token, you can summon Darius, and then he levels up, gives you Crown Guard Inheritance, so you can then rally. So that could be kind of a cheesy strategy to try to end the game. This is going to be a bit of a niche relic, but it'll be fun to play around. Yeah, this could be good for Lilia if you want a another Lily on your board, and this would also count as a summon, so it trigger your powers, your star powers. So it's going to be interesting what we can do with this. And yeah, it has some interesting synergies for getting multiple of your champions on the board. So your like Ludens or your Echoing, those effects can be duplicated. Frozen Tomb can be played to cheat out several of the same champion on the board. Yeah, that's just what we were saying. Hidden Tomb, this actually will be better the more I was thinking about it. So for this one, this is going to be great for Nidalee, because since she can level up and down multiple times, this is going to be excellent for her. Super, super good. This can be good for Vayne. Vayne, if you get to a certain point where your tumbles cost 2, being able to, like, you're already using Lost Chapter, and this is just a better version of Lost Chapter. So it'll be good for Vayne. Could be decent for Lux, to refill your spell mana twice, especially if you're going for a build with Lux where you want to be very aggressive. Could be really good for especially Lux Illuminated, where your ending game's a lot faster. So this could potentially give you more immediate value than like an Archangel's. Could be okay for Echo. Echo sometimes likes to run Lost Chapter, although it's a little worse now as the summon effect. This can be really good for Gnar. Gnar, you have a lot of spells to play. You can level up and down multiple times. So another relic that you could potentially try to use there. Samira, potentially. This can be good for Evelyn. It's going to be interesting for Evelyn. I'm not necessarily going to be like something you want to pick, but there's the potential there just because she can level up every single round. So it can pretty much be a better Archangels, sort of. Good for Diana. For Diana, with the build I'm running right now, the OTK build, to try to cheese the Nightmares, I'm already doing Lost Chapter. And so normally you play her, you spend a bunch of her spells to power her up, and normally she levels, but then you're out of mana. So being able to then refill your mana so you can keep going will just make getting an OTK with Diana even better. So this will be really good for Diana. Same with Master Yi, because you're doing that exact same playstyle. Also going to be decent for Jack, potentially. And then Varus, since Varus, you're often running Lost Chapter for his OTK build as well. So it will be fairly niche, but there'll be some champions that really like this. Yeah, pretty much it's Lost Chapter with an extra proc. That's totally true. Anyone that wants to use Lost Chapter right now, which there are several builds, you are still using it, even at the highest level, this is still solid there. Yes, this is, I am aware, Carlo, but yeah, I'll mention that for everyone else. This says summon. This is a play effect, though. So anyone you were thinking about cheesing with summon effects like LeBlanc or Lilia, that's not the case. They mentioned down here, it is a play effect, not a summon effect. If you get this right now, it's still going to work as a play effect, even though it says summon. That's just the way it is right now. Wait, did they add any new powers you find in the runs? I don't think so, as far as I'm aware. I think it's all just the relics. People mentioned powers because the powers were showing up from this. Next then, so loaded dice, 3 rerolls, 10 chance to find epic powers and items. Again, fairly niche, but some champions are really going to like this, and I like that this enables passive champion builds. So this is going to be great for Darius, can be good for Lux, can be good for Talia, and also can be good for Poro King. Yeah, it can also be good for Aurelian Soul, that's true. Don't need it for Samira, she gets it Lost Chapter on support champions. Yeah, that's a decent point. If you have that, it's not as bad. This doesn't seem like it'll work for Nidalee, actually, because I don't think the brush counts as a champion, which means you can no longer Lost Chapter her on turn 1. I think this is still going to work just when you summon your... I mean, I would think it would work when you summon your unit. It's probably going to work for Nidalee. That would be weird if it was just... We'll have to test that out on Nidalee. If this only works and checks if you are a champion, then that would be pretty bad. Otherwise, it's going to be great for Nidalee. She's going to be one of the people who can use it the best, so that'll be sad if that doesn't work. Loaded dice seems good. Loaded dice is great for very specific champions, but that's good that we're getting it. Not gonna lie, I'm more hyped for loaded dice more than the other relics. Yeah, loaded dice, some people are gonna hate it, some people are gonna love it. It'll be good. And then stacked against them, this is gonna be amazing actually the more I've thought about it for Lysandra. Because Lysandra essentially has the monthly challenge shop at the start. So having gold there is really good. So having 200 extra starting gold, fantastic for Lysandra. And then this other part, normally in Lysandra, you don't have many spots to cut cards. So you're normally ending up with over 40 pretty much every single time. So this just buffing up all of your units will actually be decent. So specifically in the Lysandra adventure, this will be good. In monthly challenges, if you just wanted the extra starting gold, then you could go for it to get better stuff in shops. But you're not really going to get enough cards to be able to really trigger this. Like, I guess you could maybe get this triggered like once. This will be good for Bard, though, because Bard's second star power. If you play a unit with buff stats, they get 2 random keywords. So just making it so all of the units you play for the entire game have 2 extra keywords every time you play them will be good. Let's see if there are anyone I'm missing with this one. Could be good for Neela. With Neela, you're fine with putting a bunch of random cards in your deck because you have so much draw. So this could be decent for Neela if you want to go for a very scaling playstyle and you're fine with just grabbing a whole bunch of cards. Could also be okay for Gnar if you want to be very aggressive in your early game and focus on your units a lot. Could be good there. Will be fairly niche. Assume this counts before echoing triggers. Not sure. We'll have to see. Echoing Spirit adds 7 cards. I mean, we'll have to test it. This should be a rare power. I mean, it's not... Well, it's, yeah, just epic. Epic relic. We don't really add rare relics too often anymore. I mean, echoing kind of counts for game start effects. Like, Bard, he has his origin, it's called, that increase the amount of chimes you get based on the amount of bards that started the game in your deck. And echoing works for that, so it has potential to possibly work. One last card that they don't have here in the patch notes, but I'll bring it up here. So yeah, Black Shield. So Either this is something that they're holding off and going to add in later, or it's something they forgot to put in the patch notes. But Epic Relic, power when you summon an ally, grant it spell shield. So this is going to be situational for some people. Like, you might want to use this on anyone depending on, like, for monthly challenges, what you're going against. Can be very good against Lysandra, could be nice to have against Ezreal. As far as champions that want to use this generally, can be very good for Poro King to trigger your board-wide scaling. Another just thing that's hitting everything. Another power that's just giving all units a keyword. Also very good for Kaisa to just, again, give your units keywords so that they can try to hit your second star power of getting that extra 2/2, trigger your evolve a little bit faster. Spell shield is worthless. I mean, it's pretty good into Lysandra. Also, this says summon an ally. Hopefully that's the case, not when you play an ally. If it is summoned, then this could be really good for, like, Lilia, where you can summon units multiple times. So even if they try to hurt your units or kill them with a spell, obliterate them, you can just summon them again. It's not permanent spell shield, so this should be able to get popped. But if you can resummon them, you can refresh spell shield. So that'll be pretty good. It'll be fairly niche, but against certain encounters, you are going to absolutely love having this. But again, fairly niche. But if you're really struggling with, like, Targon Ezreal, and you just want a little bit of extra help, this could definitely help there. It's the best relic I've seen, probably. I mean, it is a relic. This is like the same layout as all the other relics. You saw it over here as a power just because all of these are listed as powers, because Epic Relics, if they are a power, they give you that as a star power, or yeah. It's, yeah, not going to be the best relic, but in the spots where you want to have this, it'll be great. So fairly niche, but good for very specific situations and good for certain champions that really care about spell shield. Spell shield for all your units as a power is not very niche, I would say. The only issue is a lot of the people you're going to be going against are doing multiple spells. Like in Lysandra, this can be good to try to save your units from entombs or, well, buried in ice. But the issue is she can just drop her ice shards. Those go off multiple times, so that can just strip all your units from spell shield. So it's not permanent spell shield, but it should be solid. Thank you for watching that video, especially all the way to the end. Really fun to see and kind of plan out who we think these relics will be good for. I'm sure a lot of our expectations or initial assumptions will be changing dramatically over the next few days as we actually start being able to test these out. But it was fun to be able to sit down and try to theory craft who we think this will work well on. If you did enjoy the video, like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great rest of your day.